Welcome to Live with Chris, an interview podcast where we can learn and grow together. I am your host, Cris Oviedo, and I want to thank you for staying with me today. Graduation and commencement season is upon us. Whether you're a senior in high school or you have completed all your credits at your college, for most students in Maryland, you're only a few weeks away from that culminating moment where all of the hard work and all of the dedication and all of the long nights and all of the stress and the quizzes and the tests and the homeworks and, all of that sacrifice pays off and you get ready to close this one season of your life and move on to the next. And to talk about that journey, her future, I have one of our HCC culinary students and future graduate, Rachel Carver. She's joining me this morning. Rachel, I want to thank you for taking the time to join me this morning, to speak with me today. I want to go ahead and congratulate you for the upcoming
Thank you.
graduation. And, I really want to start a conversation going back. I want to go back to that first semester at HCC. I want to go back to the time when you said, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to go to HEC. I'm going to join the culinary school. I want to hear about that process. I want to hear your story. I want to hear where it all started now that you're approaching the end. So,
Yeah,
congratulations and welcome. And thank you for being with me this morning.
thank you. Thank you. So it's actually a funny story because I wasn't planning on going to school. I had actually just gotten one of the magazines that HEC sends out. I guess it's to like all Howard County residents. And on the front, it actually had a Black girl in a chef uniform. And I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know that they had a culinary program. And I've always been interested in baking. Like it's always been a hobby of mine, but I never really was going to take it seriously. But when I saw the magazine, I said, well, maybe I could take like a class on cake decorating or something. But then once I went and inquired, I realized, okay, well, I actually have to enroll in the program to take the class. And so, but I am a mom to two kids and I also work full time. So I wasn't really sure how it was going to work into my schedule, but HCC had Saturday classes. So I started my journey taking Saturday culinary classes. And really, that's kind of like, how I started. And then I just kind of got sucked into it. I first started just doing the certificate program because it's mostly just like lab classes. But then once I was getting towards the end, I said, well, how much longer would it take me to actually get the degree? And so then it just turned into both.
I love your story. I feel I see myself a little bit there in your story as I hear you. And so I came to the United States and I had my dreams of going to school and studying and I did and that's how I started my journey here in this country. And then I became pregnant and so I stopped going to school after I gave birth. I remember going to school and with my big belly and taking the easiest classes, I thought, right? Just so that I could get through and get my credits. But then after my baby was born, I took a break and my idea, my dream, my goal of going to school actually kind of like was left to the side. And when I was ready to come back, it was intimidating and I was much older, obviously. And going back into the classroom, I felt like, oh my gosh, like I am so much older than everybody else. I
Yeah.
haven't studied for the longest time ever. And I don't know how that's gonna flow if I'm gonna like am I still gonna be able to learn? Like I had all of these questions. Did you share that? Did you have that share experience
Yeah.
with me?
Yes, absolutely. So at first, it was just like lab classes and the ignorance in me thinking that I'm going to culinary school, all I'm going to have to do is cook. Well, that was a rude awakening when I realized, oh, I actually have to do papers and tests and all sorts of things on top of this. So yeah, it was it was definitely a big shocker. And um luckily I wasn't the oldest person in my classes. So it was a good mix of students. So I didn't really feel like that overwhelmingly, like, oh my gosh, I'm in a class with all these like 18-year-old kids and they're going to look at me like, well, you should know the answer, lady.
I love
So,
it.
but no, it was a little bit of a struggle. When I started taking like the classes that weren't like culinary based, like accounting, for example, because my teachers are going to probably laugh at me when I say this, because as a chef, I now know that you are also a scientist and a mathematician.
Mm,
But prior to this, I was never good at math, and math intimidated me. And so trying to do an accounting class, I was like, oh my gosh, I know I'm setting myself up for failure. Um, but I had a tutor, HCC provided me a tutor, and I ended up getting an A. So it wasn't that bad, but I kind of had to get over the whole like psyching myself out about it, because I kind of was like at one point, I've been there, done this before. I could do it again. It's just gonna be a little bit different because now I have kids and I have a job, and I just have to learn how to juggle things differently. And once I
right.
got that, you know,
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I remember trying to figure my way through. So I started taking, when I came back, I started taking just one class. I was like, there's no way I can do any more than that, just one class. Math seemed foreign to me. I was like, I don't remember any of this. I don't remember learning any of this. But as the classes went through, and as you said, the support that I was receiving from the teachers, from tutors, from all of the other resources. I was here at HCC at that point as well.
mhm.
When I came back, it was great. Like it, and I started, like I said, with one class, and I stayed taking one class per semester for a couple of semesters until I finally found my courage and said, you know what? I need to speed things up. I need to graduate. I need to get this
Yeah.
through so that I can move on with my career. And at some point in time, and I don't recommend this to anybody, I was taking like 7 classes. I was just really trying to
Oh,
graduate.
wow. Yeah. Yeah. I started off also taking a one class when I first started, and then I moved to two classes. But then when the pandemic hit, it was a blessing and a curse
Mm,
for me, because now that everything was like shut down and we couldn't go to school, I was like, well, I could take on some more classes because I can get this done in my spare time, online, as opposed to me taking off more days at work and having to go to campus. So I took on a little bit more classes when the pandemic hit, but it hit in the one class that I wanted to even go to HCC for, which is the cake decorating. So I was a little bit upset about that. um, but then that turned into a whole other experience for me, anyways, because I ended up creating like a food blog, I guess you can say,
mm.
for my cake decorating skills. And then that turned into a business for me during that time.
Wow, that's wonderful. And I would love to talk a little bit more about that, because being a student, having all of these responsibilities on any regular year, right? Let's not think pandemic here, but on any
Mhm.
regular year, being a student, juggling, studying, work, and just life in general, it's a lot already. Then you throw a pandemic into that. And I love what you just said. So let's talk a little bit more about that, and about, how maybe some of the biggest lessons. I mean, you just talked about this opportunity that came up from the struggles of the pandemic, right? So what are some of the biggest things that you're holding on, right? Because not everything, it was bad. I mean, the pandemic
Mhm.
was bad, and I cannot wait for us to just fully move on from it, right? We're more
Mhm.
open, but it's still with us. But there are some good things that came out from it. And I think, in my perspective, there are things that lessons that we can learn, that we can take, and that we should incorporate as we continue to open up. So tell me, for you, what was maybe one, or maybe some of the biggest lessons that the pandemic brought into your life?
Well, the first thing was that even though everybody was like shut down, people still had birthdays and people still wanted to be celebrated in some sort of capacity. And I found that to be like in my own immediate family, because like when everything shut down, I think that was like in March, right? Then my family and like, friends, I have a lot of birthdays from April to May, like a lot of birthdays. So, um, you know, even though we're stuck inside, people still wanted some way to like celebrate themselves, celebrate their loved ones. And so then that opened up the opportunity for me to make like cakes for them, but just on a smaller scale. And the pandemic made it, I had two jobs, right? I've always been a crazy worker. And the second one that I had, it was over with once the pandemic hit. I couldn't do what I was doing and have this pandemic going on. So they just kind of shut down. So then I needed another way to like make some money too, because I have these two kids and I'm, the school and like all of this stuff. So being stuck in the house with two kids, trying to work and also be a school teacher, because anybody who has kids like in elementary school knows you can't really leave them. So
You can't sit them in front of the computer and they're just going to do what they need
no,
to do.
no, no, no. And even just like monitoring like how to get from screen to screen, like it was just a headache. So I had to find like, a happy median for me and for my kids. And they don't really like cake. So unfortunate to say, right? But they do like to like lick the bowl and and stuff, and like
Who
assist me with
doesn't?
and assist me with things. So so that's kind of like, I guess, the silver lining in all of this, because we got to spend like more time together and do like more activities together. Um and finding out this kind of business opportunity for me to like make some extra money and not really having to leave my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And the one thing that sticks out to me really big in everything that you said is that even though we were in the midst of a pandemic, people were still wanting to celebrate each other. And that's exactly what commencement is about. And that's exactly what graduations are about, right? And it's this big celebration for all of this hard work. I mean, you've just talked about, some of the challenges that you've had having to work, having to still care for your kids, then the pandemic and everything else. And all of our students and everybody who's out there, and I'm even going to include our youth, the ones who are seniors, the ones who are in high school, because many times as parents we think, well, they don't have anything to worry about. But the pressure of graduating, the pressure of performing, the pressure of figuring out where are you going to go next,
where are
what are you
you
going to
gonna
do
go?
next, that is a lot. That's a lot for youth. And so I commend and I salute everybody who is getting ready to graduate. It's an exciting time, and I hope that as Rachel was saying, you find ways to celebrate even when the world closes. It brings me hope, to know that we still want to celebrate each other, and that we still want to find ways to let each other know how important and how wonderful we are. That's something that nothing should take away, that feeling and that emotion and that sentiment from each other. So, Rachel, what's been your favorite part of your journey here at HCC? It could be a class, it could be a teacher, it could be anything. What stands out when you look back at your journey here at HCC? What really, really stands out for you?
I'm gonna say advanced pastries was probably um this is a hard one. But I'm gonna say that class, probably because by the time I got to that class, it was one of the last classes that I took. Um, the Dragon's Fire restaurant was like, open and people could like come in. So making desserts and things to display them over there and seeing people, actually, interact with us and trying our stuff and giving us positive feedback and also criticisms too about the things that we made. That was probably the best, one of my best moments because I like making things, but the most rewarding thing for me is like seeing other people enjoy what I've made in real time, right? Because it's one thing to like send something off to somebody and then you just like sit there waiting for them to tell you like maybe the next day, oh, it was great, but that experience was like, they got to see everything in the glass. Some people would just sit there and eat it and then they'd be like, okay, I'm gonna come back in the line, even though they're only supposed to have one each. But it was like the greatest compliment. And I really enjoyed producing things for that class.
Mm. How wonderful. Why was it so hard to choose this one class? I asked you the question, what stands out to you? And you had a really hard time choosing just one thing. Tell me more about that.
Because all the classes and the experiences in them were unique. I was a baking and pastries like concentrated student, but I did take other classes that I cooked food as well. Like one of my international cuisine class was also pretty um impactful class for me as well. But that's only because I'm like a super foodie and I love food like from all around the world. Like I try to narrow down like certain cultures to say, oh, this is my favorite. But then when I go back and I think about it, I don't really think I have a favorite. So so that whole class, like just, taking food from around the world and making it, that was like a good experience for me too. And then I did other things like serving food and I made candy and showpieces and all of those things are things that I would have never experienced prior to coming to HCC. So they were all like very impactful, but they were also very small classes because the pandemic. So like my candy making class, it was only 2 of us in there. So like as if it was like a good experience, I think it maybe would have been a bit more impactful if I had more students in there working with me. But just being able to only piggyback off of like one person's ideas and seeing one person's ideas come to fruition wasn't, I guess, as impactful as the advanced pastries because there were, by that time everyone could come to class and so I got to see everybody else's work, taste everybody else's work, not just like mine and one other person or 2 other people.
Hmm. It sounds like the pandemic really it really shaped your experience here at HEC. And even though it brought struggles and maybe limited certain opportunities, right? Like even the opportunity to interact with more people, you still had a great time here at HEC and you were able to learn and accomplish your goals through the career here. Um, through all of the other challenges, talk to us a little bit about maybe services and supports that were important to you during your college career here at HEC that were available to you.
So I could talk all day long about this one actually. um so my first time coming to HCC, like I really didn't know anything about financial aid or any of the other programs. So like my first semester here, I was kind of like, you know, in the dark a little bit. But one day I came to campus with my kids because I didn't have a babysitter. And then somebody is like, I don't mean to like pry into your personal business or anything like that. But then she ended up telling me about the Career Links program. And so then I joined that club. And then they helped to pay for all my books. They helped to connect me with certain scholarships that the school had, and also like private scholarships, because I don't think I mentioned this to you before, but I went to college once before,
Mm.
right after I got out of high school, and I graduated from Virginia Commonwealth. So when I got to HCC, once you've graduated and you have a bachelor's degree, you don't qualify for like Pell Grants and certain other like financial aid programs. So I could only get any financial help based off of scholarships alone. And between Career Links and the HCC General like scholarship application, after my first semester, I basically had a full scholarship to go to HCC. So I did not pay a dime after basically my knife kit the first semester, which is very expensive, might I add. So if it wasn't for all of that financial support, all the scholarships, and then the connection that Career Links gave me to the Business Women's Network, which gave me a scholarship. I think that was in 2020. Uh, I don't even know how I could have stayed the course, truthfully, um, consistently, right? Because if I wasn't ever planning to like not finish, but the fact that I didn't have to pay to finish helped me, and it helped motivate me to be a better student. Because I was always kind of like an average student prior, and now I'm a great student.
You're doing what you love. You have the right support. So that's just helping you bring out what was already in you. I
Mhm.
mean, I find that if you're enjoying what you're doing and you have the right support with you, then you just thrive. And that's what it sounds like your experience here at HEC has been so far. So commencement's coming up. You're a student speaker for this upcoming commencement. What made you decide that, hey, I have a story to tell, and I think that it's worth telling, everybody else who's graduating with me.
Well, I took a chance, honestly. I got an email, and I said, well, hey, I do have a story to tell. And HEC has helped me a lot. So let's just see if my story's worth, if they feel like my story's worth telling too. And then I got such great feedback from everybody. And I'm really just happy to even have this opportunity, because I have gone through college like the traditional route, right? And then I guess, as the adult learner, and each time I've had like a different like experience, and I have learned different things. And I think being able to tell that story from those different perspectives and also times in my life helped make me to be like I guess relatable to like a larger audience. I hope that I touch like a multitude of people, because I've been in various situations and I've overcome them. And just sharing those things, it's nice to share.
No, it
Mhm.
sounds wonderful. I obviously don't want you to tell us your speech right now,
Mhm.
but what's that message? What is that message that you want people to take away from your words?
I hope that they take away that no matter what you're going through like in life, like knowing that you did it, or that you reached the end, your goal, that when something else pops up in your life and you do have goals, that you can remember the feeling, how you felt when you were graduating, when you accomplished those goals, to help you push through the harder times. Because none of this journey for me was easy at all. Like, a lot of things happened in my life. My life turned all the way upside down, not just from the pandemic, but other like, personal issues. And still like was thinking about graduation and thinking about finishing, and that helped me to like, push through.
Hmm. That's a great message, is, to find what motivates you and find that strength. Let that power you through whatever adversity, whatever challenges you may be finding. Is find your why, connect to that, and that will find you the path that
Yeah.
will help you get there. What's in the future? What's in the future for Rachel in 5 years, in 3 years? Where are we going to see you?
Hopefully not 5 years because I'm already old. Um, so, well, actually, I've already gotten a job. Well, I have two jobs. I still work at State Farm for my father, and I got another job at a place called Ice Cream Jubilee, which is actually my favorite ice cream of like all time. So to be working there is like so awesome. But in the future, at first I wanted to like have a brick and mortar like bakery, but now that I'm working in this kind of like wholesaling aspect of baking, I feel like that's more of like the general area that I want to like kind of lean into. Um, Maybe not like so commercial like Costco or like, Giant or something like that, but maybe something like Whole Foods, Trader Joe's type of wholesaling. I mean, I don't know. But I feel like I have a couple of different products that I am testing right now that I'm trying to see which will be better like long term as far as like efficiency on making it time and like flavor variations. But I feel like that's where I'm probably going to go with all of this.
So where can we stay up to date? Where can we follow you? Where can we taste? I'm really curious to taste some of the products that you're talking about.
Sure. So I have which started off as my food blog. It's called Ray Cakes Bake Shop on Instagram, and it's also the same on Facebook as well. I changed the name once, but I think I'm going to stick with this name because that's also like a nickname of mine, Ray Cakes, and it's literally RAYCAKES, and then Bake Shop. Well, all one word.
Great. So that's where we can connect with Rachel. That's where we can stay up to date with what she's doing, what she's baking, where she's going, and where we can, try some of the things that she is baking and support her business. Um, Anything else that you want to tell everybody before we wrap our conversation up? It's been wonderful to have this morning with you.
Oh, thank you. I guess one thing I would like to say is just never give up. And even if you don't think like you're in a position to, seek out your dreams, like it's never too late. Like, you can have two kids, you can have two jobs, you can have um, a lot of things on your plate. But if you really want something, like nothing's going to stop you.
Mm. Don't let anything stop you. We've heard that from you a couple times today, and I think that's a powerful message to leave everybody with. Again, congratulations. Commencement is coming up very soon for you. Are you ready? You have the heels, you have the shoes, you have the
I
dress.
do. I do. I'm ready. I just need to go take these braids out and get my hair done again.
There you go. So commencement's coming up. Congratulations to everybody who's graduating here at HEC. And again, congratulations to everybody who is graduating from high schools, from other schools, from other colleges. You did it. You did it. All of that hard work, all of that dedication paid off. Just like Rachel said, you found your why. You found the ways to overcome adversity. You use the resources around you in your school. You found that there were things that could help you financially, like Rachel was saying. There's other supports as well. I know here at HEC for sure that can help you navigate, right, the waters of school and what sometimes feels really, really overwhelming. You're not alone. Here at HEC, you're definitely not alone. So you can go and enjoy those classes, like Rachel was saying, and you can go and really just, embrace that experience that college brings to you. So have a wonderful day. And until next time, I am Cris Oviedo.